What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to attempt another challenge in Halo Infinite. One Pros thinks I need something harder and has challenged me to complete Halo Infinite on Legendary without taking any damage. Well, Halo Infinite is the easiest in the franchise, so this should be easy, right?
I'll figure something out.
Here's how it's going to work. Every time I take damage, I kill myself. Thanks for the no reload last checkpoint 343. It may take a lot of attempts to get past certain areas, but by doing it this way, it ensures I complete the game without taking any damage at all. I've added a death counter at the top right so you can follow my pain as it goes along, and if you want to see the entire run completely unedited, then the playlist is at the top right for you now. Warship is up first, and it's a great level to figure out the tricks needed to make this work. You can either dive in and hope for the best, you can sit back and pick them off, or you can just try and sneak past. A mixture of all three techniques is probably the best way to make it through this. However, there is areas where you do have to kill every enemy to progress. And with just a pause strafe, you can see how difficult it is to get past even the weakest of enemies because you can get sniped with a plasma pistol. Thankfully, Warship is the easiest level in the entire game, and once you can clear this room out, you can make it through the glitch door, and you're pretty much at the end of the level. So if you do attempt to do this yourself, the best idea I can give you is grab a BR because it's got extremely good accuracy at long range, and the enemies on this game have humongous range. So we'll do a fusion core launch for a bit of style points, and then that is essentially the end of Warship complete.
Where are you? The Pelicans surrounded. Oh God, they're trying to get in.
Now I hope you enjoyed that tutorial level because things are about to get drastically harder as we progress. So I just want to take this opportunity to say if you like this video, please subscribe and like the video, and if you want to see me do any more challenges, comment below what you'd like me to do.
Heads up. Lots of banished craft heading your way.
One of the biggest problems I found whilst doing this challenge was a lack of ammo. But the problem is I didn't want to get rid of the BR because it was so useful, and because no enemies drop it, you have to keep hold of a dud weapon for the majority of the time as you're trying to find a little ammo. This room was insanely difficult once I ran out of battle rifle ammo, and only the plasma rifle had the range that I needed to get through it without actually getting pinged off by everything. I just made the effort of skipping it completely, which after a few tries I managed to successfully do. I cannot explain to you how difficult Tremonius was. It got to a point where I thought this was actually going to be impossible. A lot of the time I couldn't even move off the spawn because of the jackals, so if I tried to prioritise them, Tremonius would then just slap me. And then there was a feature that I didn't even know existed in this game where I died so many times so quickly that it actually reverted me back to a previous load. So after going to the planning board, I went around the entire room, picked up every single fusion coil I could pick, and I came up with a plan to try and blow them up with them all at once. At this point versus the fighting Tremonius, I started to get pretty nervous. And I probably should have bought a lottery ticket as I was completing this because I have no idea how I didn't get shot by anything. Thankfully I was fortunate enough to get past him, and I won't have to deal with anything like this throughout the entire game again. So as you could all expect, this run would be almost impossible without grabbing the Scorpion gun. There is a much easier way to clear this area by using the Easter egg and having the artillery strike fall down. I didn't even know that existed until after I'd finished this. But now I've got the Scorpion gun, keeping range and having unlimited ammo is going to make this challenge a whole lot easier, especially in the overworld. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know it's extremely important to at least get the grapple to level 3 so you can use a lot of the tech to get through the floors, through the walls to skip major sections of the game. But even with the Scorpion gun, you can see that you can just get nicked by anything at any point, and then you've got to kill yourself to restart. Making it through the tower was relatively simple. A lot of it was outside, so you can keep massive distance. Then when you get inside, the enemies are quite slow to aggro. Finally, it's on to Chatglock, who was the biggest problem for me on my LASO Melee run. Fortunately, now I've got a pocket Scorpion, not too difficult. As always, getting the Pelican and flying over absolutely everything is a must. Not only for time save, but because you're just not going to get shot by anything on the way. An area which most people struggle with on their normal playthrough. I would usually take the invincibility glitch to skip to the end of the road, but unfortunately that takes the tiniest health off you as you're doing it, so I'm going to have to go through the entire game as normal. And by as normal, I mean completely skipping Bassus, and going underneath, and going straight to the next level. When playing through this challenge, everything that you would think would be harder is actually easier, and everything you'd think would be easier is actually harder. So rooms that are quite small and have so much cover are extremely difficult to get through because it's hard to keep track of where all the enemies are. So you can kill a few and then a jackal just comes out behind cover and just slaps you with a plasma pistol. Whereas open areaed rooms are really easy like this one, because you can just keep your distance and use the environment to help you, so you can actually make it through relatively unscathed. So I'll do another out of bounds here. Funny story is I actually did this entire level legit, with no out of bounds, and I forgot to click record. So then as I was doing it again, because this room was insanely difficult, I decided to learn the out of bounds to completely skip it, because it was just an absolute nightmare. I must have been here for about 50 deaths. Then the adjutant resolution. As easy as you can imagine he would be with a Scorpion gun. He does fire a lot of bullets, but you can just hide behind cover until he's finished, peek out, take a shot, and then hide again. Then I go around killing all the AA guns. Unfortunately, whilst doing this, it does actually take a little bit of health off you. If you even get a fraction too close, you have to keep your distance to keep as far away so you don't take any damage and then quickly escape before anything can shoot you. This is where my luck came in again. I missed the Scorpion shot in the Banshee, and then I thought I'd just give it a shot, see if I can board it. Managed to get it, and this made travelling around the overworld now, again, stupidly easy. So whilst doing all 4 of these structures, you can keep your distance and shoot everything with a Scorpion gun. Very easy.
All clear. Nice work, Chief.
So as you can see, the Scorpion gun does come in useful against brutes and elites, but the BR is probably my favourite weapon to make it through this, just because you can kill all the grunts and jackals so quickly, and you've got no fear of missing as much as you do with the Scorpion gun. As I was making it through this challenge, I started to get more used to how the enemies shot, and I started to be able to dodge needles quite easily.
We're heading in the right direction.
A skill that I doubt I'll ever need ever again, but it became quite useful as I was making it through. You can also stun enemies with the battle rifle and then finish them off with the Scorpion gun to make everything a little bit easier too. However, a lapse in concentration, and as you can see, a skirmisher just comes out of nowhere and ruins my day, and I've got to do that whole section again. I didn't expect when I was doing this challenge that it would actually be harder than doing LASO or Legendary Melee only. Granted, I did skip most of the game doing that challenge because you can take the invincibility glitch. But it's just even the smallest mistake, and you are stuck in certain areas for so long. There's areas where you're just fighting grunts and jackals, and normally that's an area where it's just not a problem at all. But because on this difficulty, it just makes everything so much harder. Here I tried to cheese the hunters to try and kill them before I went through the door, so it decided to throw me in anyway. Luckily hunters again, something that's normally a challenge, not too difficult when you can just use cover and scorpion gun them. Because they shoot quite slowly, you can just manipulate them to how you need them to go. Gondola ride. Absolutely insanely difficult. If you miss even 2 or 3 shots with a scorpion gun, they're just going to swarm all over you, and it's impossible to try and make it through. And having the perfect aim with a scorpion gun should be easy, but it's not that easy because of how slow it shoots. So the method I adopted here was to just hide under a little ramp and pray that for some reason that worked. And I don't know why, but it did. One problem I've got with this game, and I didn't even realise it until I started editing, is every level just looks exactly the same. Here's a little trick if you didn't know. When you go through those teleporters, if you ground pound, you can just Superman through the wall. And then the gods were against me at this point, so Halo started glitching and just started adding walls where they shouldn't be, so it just made everything a little bit harder. I could have just exited the game and retried it, but I thought I'd add to the challenge a little bit and just keep it on. This bit took me a lot longer than it probably should have done, just because of this little glitch. So I had to learn where all the enemies were and think of a plan to make it through. Fortunately, after a few attempts, I learnt where all the enemies were, and I managed to speed through and get to a spot that wasn't so glitched and kill all the enemies from that way. But then this glitch followed me through for the next 2 levels. Then it's onto the adjutant resolution again. He's a little bit stronger than last time, so you can't actually kill him as quickly, and then he does bring some friends. Fortunately, there's a lot of cover here, so if you just run around the sides, you can actually kill him quite easily, and then that'll despawn all of his ads. Next up is the 3 phantoms. They shoot like stormtroopers. You'd think they'd shoot better, but apparently not. Apparently you can just dodge every one of their bullets like Neo. Don't know how that happened. Maybe that was just a bit of luck on my part, but I never struggled with this part either.
Another phantom? Please.
And now a rehash of Foundation, except a little bit harder because of the Sentinels. Keeping my distance with the shock rifle. Still running the BR because I know I'm going to need that as much as I can, but it's quite useless against the Sentinels. Making it through this level, you start to learn where all the enemies spawn because you die so much on each section. And that's really the trick to how to do this. You need to be able to spawn kill enemies before they can see you. So these 2 brutes down here are extremely dangerous. They killed me so many times, but I managed to know exactly where they're going to stand from going down the ramp, and I can kill them before they can even get a shot off on me. Next up is the road, and thankfully being in the overworld, you can just take a different route than it intends you to do, so you just ignore the road completely and go around the left or the right hand side. Then it's onto the House of Reckoning, the easiest level in the entire game, even easier than Warship just because you can skip it completely. So a big mistake here is I really should have brought a hammer or a skewer in to kind of stun Jaeger. On this attempt he died in 2 hits, but he wasn't dying on all the other attempts. Eshram shoots you instantly as soon as you spawn, so it took quite a lot of attempts just to shoot him and then try and hide, and I got a lucky checkpoint which made it so I didn't have to die instantly on every spawn. So using that checkpoint I managed to just do a little lap around the room to keep him busy, and then glitch through the bottom of the door and despawn him.
The power
Without this out of bounds, Escharum would have been extremely difficult because he just shoots so quickly, and the first 3 phases, which are normally the easiest, would have just been an absolute nightmare. The last phase, where he's just running with a hammer, would have been a gift. Now it's onto the home stretch, the Silent Auditorium, another easy level in the game if you know what was skipped. Clearing out most of the first room. Normally I don't do this and I just go straight into the skip, but because any sort of enemy touching me is an instant reset, I made sure to kill all the enemies and then at out of bounds, made my way through the level as normal. This is one of those rooms where on a normal playthrough it's really easy. There's just loads of grunts and jackals and so many fusion cores you can use to help you. But this was actually one of the hardest rooms in the entire game for me, because all the enemies are on different levels and it's hard to keep track of where they all are. Again, another fusion coil launch for style, just so you don't have to watch that cutscene with Cortana at the end. And now it's onto the Harbinger. On my previous challenges, this was almost a run ender every single time. However, due to the fact that they come out the doors, and if you can manipulate them so you know which ones they come out of, it's actually quite easy with the Scorpion gun. And I managed to do the final 2 waves in one go. So, can Halo Infinite be beaten on Legendary without taking any damage? Yes, it can. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.